In this video, we're going to be making a low poly coffee mug in Blender, and if you're a beginner, you're going to love this. If you want to follow along and make this yourself, there's a link in the description to get my free startup file. It has the materials and the textures and everything that you need to follow along just like me. All right, let's get started. We have a cube here. I'm going to get rid of that cube. X, delete, Shift A. Let's go to Mesh. And let's add a cylinder because that's going to be most like a coffee mug. I'm going to take these vertices down to maybe like 16. Sure, that sounds good. And let's hit Tab to go into edit mode, 3 to go to face mode. I'll grab this first face and let's hit I for inset. I for inset, just like that. We're going to make the walls of the mug, something like that. Good. And now let's take this and E for extrude and bring this all the way down to the bottom. And I'm just going to bring it past so I can see that little edge there, and then I can kind of bring it up and make that, I think, pretty good. Let's look at this from the side and then also go up here to X-ray mode. And yeah, got it pretty good. I'll say G, Z, and bring that down a little more, something like that. Yeah, that's good. All right, I'll hit home to frame everything. Tab to get out of here, and let's go out of X-ray mode. Yes, very good. Right click, shade auto smooth, and now we have this nice looking coffee mug. Yeah. All right, let's make the handle. You can do this a lot of different ways. Let's just do it this way. Let's do Shift A, and let's get a cube, and I'll hit Tab to go into edit mode, and then S to scale this way down, just like that. So a little cube inside, and then let's bring this out on the y-axis, GY, and that's going to be kind of the thickness of the handle. So GY, somewhere in there. All right. Let's hit 3 to go to face mode, and let's grab this face and this face, and we'll just scale these on Z, SZ, SC, and we're going to make these about the right height for the handle, something like that. Okay. Let's extrude each of these by hitting Alt-E and extrude faces along normals. We're going to bring that up a little bit. So this is going to be kind of the curve. And then hit 3 to grab these faces and extrude those into the cup. Good. And let's do it somewhere in there. Cool. Yeah, that works. So now we have the basic kind of outline of that, but let's make this a little bit more soft. Let's do, you could do this a lot of ways. Probably the easiest way is to hit 2 and grab these edges, and we could either bevel these like that, or we could just bring them in. So let's just bring them in, maybe GY, bring them in like that, and then let's just scale it, maybe SZ, like that. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. The problem here is that we don't have these, we don't have a curve here. So you could do that. You could do that a few ways too. So let's just maybe hit Control R to make a ring here, and then let's make 2 rings, just scrolling up on the scroll wheel. I'm gonna click to confirm, right click to cancel the movement, SZ, bring that up just so we have a little more geometry there. And let's just see how this works. Let's take these, let's take these 2 edges, let's GY, maybe bring those in. Yeah, something like that. So we're getting that curve there, and that kind of like throws these off. So maybe we'll move these at the same time. So let's hit Shift and grab both of these edges and GY. There we go. That's looking a little better. And then let's take these here, bring those over, GY. Yeah, it kind of depends on what you're going for here. Let's grab these, kind of split that difference too. There's probably better ways to do this even, but that's the great thing, is that even if you don't do something the very best way, you can still get it done. You can still make it happen. GY, yeah. that looks cool. Let's take this whole ring. I'll just hit 3 and then Alt to grab this, and then SZ, and we'll just scale that down a little bit. Maybe scale it on Y also, just to make it a little skinnier. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. All right, and now depending on how low poly we want this, if this is just going to be something, you know, on a table in the background or something, we can probably leave it like this, or even make it lower poly than that. If this is going to be kind of a hero thing where you see it a lot or you look at it really closely, we might want to bevel this some more. So I can hit Alt and grab these edges here. So Shift Alt for both of these, Shift Alt for all of these. Then I can hit Control B to bevel them. Yes. See, that's nice. Maybe do this same thing here. I'll grab this one and hit Control, and that'll select all of that around there. Although Control Alt is going to work there too. Control B, we'll bevel that. So yeah, now we can kind of bevel that around, right click, auto smooth. That's not smoothing very well, is it? It probably needs a little bit more, adjustment with that auto smooth. Yeah, could take that angle up to 60. That's going to give us a little bit smoother handle. So yeah, if you want that a little bit more smooth like that, again, you could take these edges and bevel that a little bit, you know. Have a really nice coffee mug here. We could bevel this part, or even extrude this out. Yeah. Depends on if you're going to see the bottom of this mug or not. If you're never going to see it, don't worry about it, but if you are, then you can add a little thing like that. Now we have this really nice looking mug. That looks great. All right, let's give it a color here. Let's go to our modeling, or to our shading. And we're going to, oh wait, actually I want to go to my UV editing, and we're going to go to our material preview. We're going to grab our preview, or our material here, and let's select main material. This one for both of these. That's going to load this kind of rainbow texture thing in our startup file. This isn't in just the vanilla Blender. This is if you have the startup file. And yeah, that looks kind of weird. But the idea here is that we can grab both of these objects, and I'll just look at this through the x-axis like this and hit Tab to go into edit mode, and look over here on our UVs. This is laying out this texture on this 3D surface. And so if I hit A to select all of these faces, then I can go to UV, project from view. And that's going to kind of take a snapshot sideways of our mug. I'll just scale this down, and let's pick a color. Maybe we'll make it purple. Yeah, purple mug. And I can scale this on Y, so SY, which is up and down in the 2D editor. And as I scale it up like this, it's going to use a little bit more of the bright parts and a little bit more of the dark parts, and it's going to give us a little bit of a gradient ramp here. And that's going to look really cool. Oh, that looks so cool. I love that. What a cool mug. Let's do it. Let's see what this looks like rendered, shall we? Go back to layout, and in our starter project, we have this hidden render stuff folder here. If I go to this little, what's it called? A filter, and I go here to this little monitor, I can click on that, and there we go. We have our kind of like render setup thing here. I'll grab both of these and hit Control J to join them, so it's just easier to move them. And let's look at this on the x-axis and just bring this up, GZ, like that. And let's look at it through the camera by clicking this little camera button. Rotate it on the Z-axis. Yeah, something like that. G, Shift Z, so I don't move it up and down. Yeah, somewhere in there. That's a cool cup. That's a cool cup. Let's do it. Let's render this. Render image. Yes. Oh, I love that. There's our low poly coffee mug. if you enjoyed this, well, I hope you enjoy the other videos too. And did you know that I have a course called Blender 101, and it teaches you the basics of modeling, stuff I kind of skipped over in this video. Just for sake of time, we go deeper into it and talk about the important stuff that you need to know to model whatever you want in Blender. All right, there's a link down below. I'll also put a little clicky thing here, but I hope you had fun like I did today. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.